right, welcome to the Peek and Meet Method. I'm Brenda Gear, the founder of Peek and Meet. Our mission is to share tips and resources and opportunities with job seekers, entrepreneurs, and freelancers to help them overcome the challenges of COVID-19. We're in this together, and we will win this together. Today, we have Chad from Herosmyth with us. Chad, this is your opportunity to give us your pitch. We all should have one. What's yours? So today we have Chad from Herosmyth. So Chad, I want you to introduce yourself and give us your pitch because you're going to do it better than I'm going to do it.
Well, you caught me a little off guard there, but yeah, sure, happy to. I'm Chad Coleman, the founder of Herosmyth. Herosmyth is an all new kind of concept in the marketing world, built for small businesses. Rather than like a traditional marketing agency, Herosmyth is built like a gym for your business. So basically you have everything you need all in one place, meaning the marketing experts, your marketing trainers, if you will, and all the assets you need to create high-end media all in one location at Herosmyth. So that's the pitch basically. And yeah, thanks for having me today. It's exciting to join you.
It's exciting to have you here. So Chad, tell us who some of your ideal clients are and maybe what they're experiencing right now.
Yeah, so we work with a pretty broad base of clients, but you know, being designed for small business owners, we tend to see a lot of variety in that space. Some of the most common types of small business owners we work with are coaches of various kinds, health coaches, wellness coaches, weight loss, fitness coaches, are a big niche for us, and realtors as well have been a great niche for us. But we work with a wide variety of small businesses, you know, and it's been really interesting to see how everyone's dealing with COVID. You know, we've been really working hard to help some of our, especially our coaches and fitness trainers to pivot into doing things virtually as opposed to, you know, meeting people at a gym or meeting people in person. We've really had to help them figure out how they could transform their, you know, one-on-one coaching into a more online coaching course platform. And so we've been doing a lot of that lately. And then with our realtors, obviously during the shutdown, it was especially difficult, you know, because they weren't able to show houses really for a while. And so that was sort of a bit insurmountable, but you know, with the rise in cases recently, we've been helping them really to engage the top of the funnel of their marketing and to leverage social media to get more out of it, to make like a deeper, more personal connection online, and to kind of basically like warm prospects up and to let them know about their brand and sort of their personal style that obviously, you know, in the end that will help them attract more ideal customers.
So a lot of people are strapped for cash now, and I think it was Bill Gates said if he was down to his last dollar, he would send it on he would spend it on marketing. Have you seen an uptick in business, or have people kind of been holding on to their money just in case for whatever reason?
Yeah, great question. So initially when the pandemic really sort of hit first and everyone, you know, around the country was locked down, we did see a dip initially. I think everyone, you know, just kind of clutched their pearls for a moment, which is completely understandable in this unprecedented time. So yeah, initially we did, but now, you know, we're seeing a pretty dramatic uptick in new business because I think people realize like, this is sort of our new reality. You know, we're going to have to do things in a different way. We're going to have to embrace some of these technologies that maybe some not so early adopters or some would call laggards were kind of resisting. Well, now they realize, gosh, you know, my website is incredibly important. This is going to be the first impression my business makes. So things like that, you know, people are starting to come around and we're starting to see a real uptick in people using, you know, or using us to help them with their marketing. And I think we're pretty affordable. You know, we have like a gym, we have a monthly membership that gives you a certain amount of hours. And because you are a monthly member, you get a discount off our regular rate, which is just $99 an hour. So I think we're a great choice for people in these times.
Can you tell us a little bit about those packages that you offer?
Yeah, sure. So basically every package, they start at $149 and go up to $499 a month. And every package includes access to our photo and video studio, our podcast studio, our training courses, and then a differing amount of hours, according to the expense, obviously, a differing amount of hours per month that you can collaborate with our experts on your marketing. So a lot of marketing agencies tend to kind of just meet with you a couple times and then go off in their cave and sort of, invent something for your business. We really, working with smaller businesses, typically have like 1 to 5 people. We tend to be more hands-on, more collaborative. We want to actually leverage the expertise of the entrepreneur and the founder themselves, because we feel like they're so vital. So it's been interesting with COVID. Obviously, we do a lot more things virtually ourselves, and then our space is huge. We have about 5,000 square feet here, and we sterilize everything in between every appointment, and we have plenty of room for social distancing. So it's been a pretty interesting balance of people who want to come in and people who want to do things virtually. And of course, we're happy to accommodate either.
So COVID brought all of us some challenges. So how was it your business had to pivot?
Yeah, we were kind of pretty much set up to do this. I think for us, because we've been like maybe 95% virtual capable before COVID. I think the big thing was for us was not knowing how long it was going to last. It's turned out to last much longer than I think anyone had hoped for. But so I think our big pivot was more about the messaging on our site, kind of leading virtual first, where we're obviously with an awesome facility like we have here in Denver, before the pandemic, we led with, hey, come in and do stuff. So we had to kind of switch around all of our message to be more about like booking online sessions with an expert to get your marketing done and stuff like that. So that was it for us. It wasn't too bad. Now for the businesses we work with, that's where the heavy lifting was. A lot of them were, sort of more traditional, businesses, and that took a little more effort.
Did you get any clients that were unique, like you wouldn't expect it that you would be helping them?
Like because of the pandemic, or just in general?
Yeah, because of the pandemic.
That's a darn good question.
Well,
yeah, I mean, you pride yourself on good questions, don't you, Brenda? Yeah, so trying to think.
So one of the things that I've noticed is I have friends that teach yoga. They have other jobs and they teach yoga, and they usually go to people's home and they do it one-on-one. So
Right.
It's pretty ironic now that they're doing these Zoom yogas, and I was thinking, well, if you're doing okay with the Zoom yogas, you really should expand your business and do some marketing. So I really thought that was a great opportunity.
I guess it wasn't really the type of customer that really changed a lot for us. It was just their location. I've always saw Herosmyth as being able to work with people all over the country, and we've been lucky we have actual members who, even though they can't use our podcast studio or sort of any of the in-person assets, we have members in different parts of the country, Ohio, New York, Florida. And so that's been great. But yeah, we did see an uptick on people's willingness to, like I just did a website for a guy out of Texas, one out of Chicago recently. So yeah, we saw more of a people kind of, because virtual is kind of the new default, I guess you could say, for the time being, we started seeing like our advertising, we started expanding out and advertising to the whole country, and we're able to convert people to, in other parts of the country to do, website sessions, logo design sessions, things like that.
Does Herosmyth offer any classes for people just don't know that much about marketing or SEO or things to do on their website?
Yeah, we sure do. Yeah, we've kind of switched over. We have a training center here at Herosmyth, and then obviously with the pandemic, we switched over to doing webinars. Yeah, we offer really affordable / free training classes. Tend to do like 2 to 3 a month. I haven't actually, the holiday months kind of get a little dicey. People aren't, I haven't seen a lot of attendance, so you don't usually do them in November and December. But yeah, we have like $5 classes on like digital marketing 101. We do one about sales. A lot of people want to start a business and they've never sold before. So I put together like a 90-minute workshop to help people who are new at doing sales. And then we also do branding workshops and things like that that are a little more premium. But yeah, our training tends to fall between like $5, which is essentially free, and like $49 for our more in-depth, like longer workshops.
Yeah, I think that's a really good. I think the sales part is a really good point. So a lot of people have a lot of great ideas and they can develop the product or the service, but they lack that sales portion. What are a couple of tips that you could give someone that has no experience in sales, but they're starting a business or they're currently in business and lacking in sales?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that people have a real stigma towards sales, because the fact is nobody likes to be sold, right? I mean, it kind of makes you feel uncomfortable, and there's this like sort of odd tension there. I think that the biggest tip I could give people is to, reframe how you think about sales and sort of frame it in the sense that like, hey, like if I'm meeting with someone, I'm really in this meeting to provide value to them, right? To figure out, how can I help this person in this moment? And people, when you're able to help them and provide value or insight to the issues that they're struggling with or that they're reaching out to you about, that really builds trust. It's the classic thing, business 101, know, like, trust. And if you can provide value in your sales meetings, that's huge. And then the other factor I would say that's incredibly important, and this was hard for me because I do love to communicate, I'm a marketer after all, is you want to really set a framework in your mind to where you're listening 80% of the time and talking 20% of the time. The reason for that is, you want the person you're meeting with to feel really heard. And you want to convey that you deeply understand the issues that they're confronted with. And the flip side of that coin is, when you listen 80% of the time, what happens to the 20% that you get to kind of share your expertise or provide that value? That becomes a really premium, right? So one of the things that we work with our members on is really clarifying their messaging so that when they do get the chance to have a sales meeting, they've really thought through the most effective things to say, to engender trust in the person they're meeting with. And so that can be very valuable, those two things.
Yeah, I like the 80-20 rule you use there, because a lot of people, they're just pushing their product or their service and they forget to ask the questions. So it's those validating questions. Does the person even need your product or service, or do they need something different? So if you feel like you're asking them questions and then you pause and let them do the talking, you'll figure out where your solution fits into their world. So
that speaks to my third big thing that I would add to my first two is, you should almost think of a sales meeting as much as they're interviewing you, you're interviewing them. Because ultimately, the most successful businesses really know their ideal customers well. And so you want to make sure that the person you're talking about working with is truly ideal, So when you think about it in that sense, it's like, you don't feel like you're in the spotlight or like this tension or worry about, am I going to perform well in this sales meeting? You're kind of coming at it as a way as like, hey, we're just here to figure out if we're a good fit for each other, So I'm asking them questions because I want to know if they're a good fit for me, and they're asking me questions and whatnot to find out if we're a good fit.
Sounds like the sooner you be quiet and listen, you determine whether they're going to be a good client for you or not.
Exactly. Yeah, that's so true.
So personally, do you know anyone that, they lost their job, or a mom or dad that ended up having to stay home with their children to do the homeschooling? And what are they doing now?
Yeah. Quite a few of my clients have children, and so it's been, and actually I have a few that maybe not the actual client themselves, but their spouse is a teacher. So yeah, it's been really challenging for them, because you know how it is, Brenda. You own a business; it's your passion, and but if you have kids, as we both do, they need your attention and they need your time. And I know it's been super challenging for people to just, it requires a tremendous amount of focus to run a business. And so yeah, it's tough. I feel lucky. My daughter's grown and in college, so I've got no excuses. I'm 100% Herosmyth, and obviously my wife and I like to spend quality time with her as well. So yeah, it's been really challenging. I haven't heard any. We did have one person that had joined like in, I guess it was like toward the end of February, and their business was about to close. Like they were kind of coming to us to hopefully save their business. And they ended up, when the pandemic hit, they had like a paint and sip where you drink wine and you do a painting type of business. And yeah, that was tough during the pandemic and the shutdown. And I tried to say, hey, maybe we can make a virtual version of this, and people are going to need this kind of thing. But she was so close when she joined us to already shutting down her business that she was just like, this is a sign from God. I'm just going to go. But fortunately, most of the businesses we work with have been able to pivot and even prosper in the pandemic time. So that's
Yeah,
been
I agree. It's tough on the parents. So as a single mom, I wore a lot of hats. So the one that I never wore was, other than teaching your kid because you're the parent, is the teacher hat. I was like, I don't know what I'd do. So my hat is totally off to those parents.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's so hard. And like, I have nieces and nephews who are really young, like third and fourth and fifth grade. And my sisters are, it's just challenging. There's tech issues, and sometimes we even had a little tech issue with our initial attempt at this. And imagine that with 30 students who are not exactly wizards when they're in third grade. And so all the parents are definitely pulling their hair out right now.
Yeah, the kids are probably smart enough to create those technical difficulties.
Mom, I'm trying to get a cool virtual background.
hang on.
The Xbox through the feed so I can have my Xbox as my virtual background.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of people experience isolation, and not everyone had a companion or a dog or whatever. So or kids for that matter. So what are some ways that you dealt with the isolation? Any hobbies, side hustles?
Yeah. No side hustles, but definitely hobbies. I'm fortunate. My wife worked from home. It's funny because my wife has worked from home for almost 7 years now. So it's actually been really interesting from her perspective. She works for a company on the East Coast, and so it's been funny for her because like this was normal for her. Nothing really changed, but all of her team and coworkers all suddenly sort of came to where she was, doing things virtually. And she's very upset because she's had to actually wear makeup and stuff now because everybody.
And then she's got to air you on that one. So has she been trying to push you out? It's like, can you just go to the office for a while?
Exactly. So yeah. So but so I haven't been too isolated. I'm lucky to have an awesome wife and a puppy. And I will say that a lot of people I know did adopt a pet, and that was really helpful for them, because I'm a dog person, so there's nothing better than having that unconditional little pet in your life,
Yeah, they're excited to see you. At least you're feeling good. You're feeling good about yourself with that. So are there any blogs, any resources, any books or anything that you would recommend for that entrepreneur, solopreneur, freelancer, just to help them get through this trying time?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, it's hard to pick one, but I'm a voracious reader, and especially about nerdy marketing and entrepreneur stuff. I guess a couple ones that I guess I'll answer it this way. There's a few books that I wish people would read, when they're thinking about starting a business. Number one of those is not the most exciting book, but a very helpful book called The E-Myth, or The E-Myth Revisited. They've kind of updated it. If you're thinking about starting a business, I would highly recommend that you read that book. I'll admit it takes a little intestinal fortitude to get through the first couple chapters, but the concepts in that book are really, really great foundational concepts to understand how you should be thinking about creating your business. And then another one that's a bit of a classic as well that I like is by Seth Godin, called The Purple Cow. And it's based on this idea of creating a business or a brand that's remarkable. And I think in a world in which we live that is incredibly cluttered and noisy with, advertisements and social feeds left and right and all this stuff kind of flying at people, I think it's more important than ever to really understand what about your business makes it remarkable, and being able to craft a story that people can connect with that shows off your remarkableness, if that's a word. I may have just made that up.
It sounds like a word to me. So, Chad, we all have an ask. What's your ask?
Wow, that's good. I wish I had thought more deeply
Gotta
about it.
put that out there in the universe.
Goodness. Well, geez, now you make it even bigger. I was just going to say, check out herosmyth.com. And, if you need help with your small business marketing, give us a shout out. We offer a free 45-minute consultation. And so you can book that and you'll take a look at your brand and your business and try to give you some valuable advice, but yeah, I guess if I could say anything to all the entrepreneurs out there, I guess I would say that just rest assured in the fact that this is an insane year. This is probably going to go down in history as one of the worst years ever, So, keep being diligent, keep working hard, stay focused on what you're trying to build, because if you can make it through this year, you can make it through anything.
I like that. That's a good way to end this session. So, Chad, thank you for your time today. We appreciate all the advice that you offered and all the recommendations on the books, and loved hearing about your services.
Thanks for having me. I'll see you next time.